Everyone, welcome back to the today's session. So today we are going to see a bookstore management system project. It's a portfolio project for the beginners. Okay, so if you are planning to start your career in AI programming, or if you are planning to shift your career to Business Central, then this session will really helpful to you. Okay, so by the end of this particular session, you will be understanding AL programming. Like, you will understand the solid foundation of AL programming. You will learn what is table, how to create a table, pages with the proper properties and validations. You will learn data validation using a code unit, navigation and user interface. We will be creating a query as well as the report. So the complete objective of this particular bookstore management project is to provide a comprehensive solution for managing book and their lending information with the bookstore. So here I have already created the files here. So I'll be typing the code in front of you with the proper explanation. So don't worry about it. The thing is, like, I have already created the required file. Okay, so this is what we are going to create: two table. One is a book table and the lending table. So the book table will hold the data about the book, like book ID, book name, publisher, author, everything, and the lending, who is lending that book. Okay, like lending ID, which book they are using. We'll be creating some table relation between these two tables, so you will understand what is table relation and the keys. Okay, primary key and the secondary key. And then we'll be creating a code unit. So where in code unit I'll be writing the logic. Okay, some logic to do, and that logic we'll be calling it in the page. Okay, so I have created a card page for the lending table and the book table. Okay, this is a card page for lending table and the book table, and the list page for book table and the lending table I have created. And then a query, I'll be writing a query as well as a report. Okay, finally we'll be executing it. I'll show you each and everything step by step. Okay, so if you have any queries, please leave that in the comment section so that I can answer you. So before we proceed, so this is my channel. Go and subscribe here first. And so if you want to join as a member of my channel, you can click here, join, or else you can find the link in the description. Okay, so this is the one. And the second is this book. The complete documentation with the codes are available in my tech tutorial page. So the link is also in the description. If you want that link, you can ask me. I'll be sending the link here, so you can find it here: bookstore management portfolio project for beginners. And if you are a international viewer or an international buyer, so this is the link. I'll be sharing this link as well as. So, and if you require any personal guidance, like for example, if you wanted to or know the certification details, how you can prepare for your certification, any mock interview, if you wanted to ask something with me related to technology, you can always check here, schedule a call with me. The link is in the description. And this is my blog. Okay, so you can follow my blog. If you want to follow my blog, the link is also in the description. You can find that. Okay, so let us go to the very first table. Okay, let us create the very first table, which is what the table. Okay, so the table is what the book table. So what we are actually going to do is, what we are going to create, we want to store the data, right? So we'll be creating the data like fields. Okay, book ID, ISBN number, book category, book cost, publisher, title, author, and the publication date. So if you wanted to start, like if you wanted to create any table is used to store the data in Business Central. Okay, so if you want to create a table, then you can start with TT. It will show you the snippet. So here you can see, this is the snippet. This is the T table snippet available. So once if you select that, if you enter that, no, you can find the complete snippet of your table. Okay, so in this table you can find that for the table you need for any object. So in Business Central we have various objects like table, page, query, everything. So if you wanted to create any object, you have to give an id, okay, where it will be stored, like id which is used to uniquely identify a table or a page or any object. So if you are new to the very new, like brand new to business central, you have to watch two playlists in my channel. So the first playlist it was is what 21 days of al coding challenge. You will understand the basics towards the intermediate level of al coding. And the second one which you should watch is what the business central technical consultant playlist. So here you will understand everything, right from how to configure business central, how to set up your business central, executing the first code, everything here. So don't forget to watch it. So here you have to give some id. So I'm just giving id as 50103. There are some range, these are called as the id ranges. So we have some ranges for id, okay. And then the table, you have to give the table name. I'm just giving us book, okay. Book is the table name which I'm going to give. And data classification is to be classified. So for each and every, sorry, for in table, like specifically in table we have a data classification. So here you can classify your data under any of these things, like whether it is an account data or whether it's a customer content data directory, it's an end user identifiable organization. So I don't like I specifically don't have any classification, so I'm just giving it as a to be classified. So if you have any classifications which you wanted to apply on that particular data in the table, then you can go ahead with that particular name, okay. So this is to be classified, and these are the fields, okay. So what does this fields called? So table, usually our table will be in this format, right? It's like a column, row, and the column. But actually the structure of the table will be the column name. You have to give the column name. So here what are the fields I should have? Okay, those fields you have to mention inside this field block. Okay, you can see here the first one is you have a field block, okay. So what are the fields you want? If you want 10 fields, you have to give inside this field block. This is field 1, and then again you have to create a new field, give field 2, etc. And every table you can create a key. If you are aware of SQL, then you will definitely know what is a key. Key is to uniquely identify the record, okay. So here you can assign the key if you wanted to go ahead, like if you want to specify the key. So primary key is important, you have to give the key. So one primary key, whatever you give as the first one, which is considered to be the primary key, and you can give 49 secondary keys, okay. Here there is no concepts like like we learn various types of keys, right? Like foreign key. So we cannot specifically mention this is a foreign key or something, but of course if we call it in a different table, that is considered to be the foreign key. So this is a primary key, and if you want to add more key, then you can start with the key and enter the key too, and you can give the field name, okay. So this is how your key you can assign it. And if you wanted to give any variable, okay, you can give here variable. So here you can find that this is a variable, this is a global variable. So once you have declared any variable here, that will be considered for the entire table. You can use it in the entire table. And these are all the trigger section, okay. So this is the table level trigger. So if you wanted to give any table on insert, if you wanted to tell something, if you want to trigger some logic, if you on modify, if you want to tell something, so you can use these triggers. So today we are not exactly going to use this trigger, but of course, because this is a beginner level, right? So first let us understand the properties which we will be using it in each and every field, how to make it as a mandatory fields and everything, and also I'll be telling you the validations as well. So watch, this is the book table, right? Let us create the book table step by step, okay. So first one is I need a book id. So I'm just going to give book id, okay. You can just make it as like this. If you wanted to give any space, you have to enclose that within the double quotes, okay. That is important. So book id, and what is the data type? So here you have to specify what is the data type and the size of the data, okay. So here this is how your field goes, okay. This is a field and this is the id for this particular field, and this is my field name, that is a variable name, and this is the data type. And if you wanted to know about what is a variable, what is a data type, so you can watch this 21 days boot camp, because this is essential for any programming language. So all these things are already given here. So what is a data type, what is a variable, and everything. So please go and watch this, which will be useful for you. Okay, so here you can see this is the first field which I have given. If I wanted to add a second field, then you can start with T field. Okay, and what is the ID you have to give? I am going to give this ID as 2. And what is the second one, which is ISBN number? I wanted to give ISBN number. So if I want to give any space, I have to go with number, and this ISBN number should be text. Okay, so text. Usually the ISBN number should be text. Actually, ISBN number can should be a number. Okay, but sometimes there will be hyphen, right? You can find some hyphen in the ISBN number, so I'm just making it as a text. Okay, so here let us first create all the fields. Okay, then I need the title. Probably if you wanted to go with the title, then you can give the title. Okay, and then I need author, and then I need price. Okay, likewise you can create publish date, and then I need languages. Yes, if you want, you can just go ahead with the language. Okay, you can also, like, whatever you want, you can just go ahead with that number of pages, whatever. So as of now, I have given ISBN number. I wanted to go with the book category. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, what I'm going to go with the book category. T field. Okay, TFIALD field. Okay, so the ID is 8, and I'm just going to give this as a book category. So we all know, like, book category will be fiction, non-fiction, science, technology, history, and biography, right? So if there will be, like, there won't be more than 10 or 20 book categories. So I just wanted to specifically tell that these are all the book categories which I have, and I wanted to display it in a drop down. Okay, so if I want to display that in the drop down, I wanted to give it as an option. Okay, so once if you give it as an option, it will throw you an error. Don't worry about it. Why it is showing error is what? Because, see, since you have declared that as an option means if you wanted to display any field as a drop down, okay, it should show some relevant data to select. Then you should give what are the option members you have. That is what the error. The property option members cannot be blank, so it is expecting an option member. So let us try to give the option member here. So option members. Okay, so you have to give fiction. What are the members you are planning for? Non-fiction, then science, history, mathematics, technology, biography. So what are all the various things which you have? You can just give that. Okay, so you can do option members. So once if you give the option members, your error will be away. Okay, so this is what the field 8, that is a book category, we have given. Then you have to go with the cost, right? That is what book cost, that is what the price they have mentioned. So book price. Okay, and then the publisher, you wanted to display the publisher here. So we can go ahead with the publisher. T field. So the field is this, and I'm just going to give publisher, and the publisher may be like text. Okay, text. And what is the what is the size you wanted to give? Okay, and the next is what title, whether we have given the title here. Yes, the title is here, and the author is also here. We need the publish date. Okay, publication date. Let us go with the publication date. Okay, so this is what I want. These are all the various fields I have given, and the key field, because you should specify the key field. At least one key field should be there. Okay, in this you have to know one thing, that is, this is the variable which holds the key. Okay, so this may be anything. You can even name it as pk. Usually we will name it as pk because it is a primary key, you can easily understand. But here you can name anything. Okay, key 1, let it be key 1, or let you can go ahead with the pk. So I'm just going to make it as pk, because to understand this is a primary key, and my field I'm going to give what I'm going to give book id as my primary key. So once if you press control and space, you can see what are all the possible entry you can give it here. You can go ahead with any of this. Okay, so I'm just going with the book id, because you can ask me, even isbn number is also a unique id, then why you're going with the book id? So you may have multiple copies of book, like if you want to expand this, like multiple copies of book may be there, so there will be multiple same isbn for the multiple copies. So I just wanted to go ahead with the book id, and then I'm just giving cluster is equal to true, because this we have to assign in order to, like, if you wanted to make it as a clustered index, okay, then you will be using this primary key, and clustered is equal to true. If you wanted to know more about the primary key, I have discussed that in my channel, so please go and watch. And here I don't want any variable, so I'm just deleting it right here. So here this is the basic structure, okay, but apart from this, if I wanted to make few things, okay, what are the things which I want to do? Book id should be mandatory, right? So what I'll be doing is what not blank is equal to true. I'll be making it as not blank is equal to true, and mandatory is equal to 2 will be available in page. Okay, so not blank is equal to true, I will just make it. And it should, if you wanted to see something like if you wanted to add any caption, for example, instead of this book id, if you want a different name to be printed on the user interface, then you can go ahead with the caption. As of now it is not required, because we'll be creating a page. Okay, wherever you feel like the not blank is equal to true should be there, you can go ahead with that. Okay, so this is title. Even as of my understanding, all everything should not be blank. Okay, if you want to enforce any other rule, then you can also do that. Okay, so not blank, I'm just making everything not blank here, because I want everything to be enter, everything to be so here you can see, on for the publication date I have made it as a date. This is what the data type, and this is a decimal data type. You can find language, even if you wanted to give the language as the options, you can give this as an option, and add option member here. Okay, option members is equal to what are the languages which it supports. Okay, and then book category we have this, and even this, if you wanted to make it as a not blank true, then you can make it. Okay, so not blank is equal to true. So here wherever you want, like wherever you don't want that to be a blank data, then you can make it as not blank is equal to true. By default it will be like not blank is equal to false. Okay, if you are not giving this property, then they can just make it blank. Okay, our book card is ready now. Okay, so let us go ahead and create something else, like book cost, everything we have done, right? Author. So now let us go ahead and create a lending table. So let me save this once, and while if you have completed this, please go and save that. So in order to save it, press Ctrl S. Okay, it's simple. So let us go and create book sorry, lending table. Okay, so let us create a lending table. So those you are supposed to store the details of the lenders. Okay, those who are lending it. So again you have to start with T table 50104, and you are just going to make this as a lending. And as I told, this is to be classified, because I haven't classified this to anything else. Okay, so if you want to go ahead with all these things, okay, like status. So these are all the fields I wanted to actually see. This automatic code suggestions are because of GitHub Copilot. Okay, I am using GitHub Copilot here, so that is why it is showing all these suggestions. So you can see here the same thing. Okay, I just wanted to create something like lending ID, which is a code. And what is the difference between the code, integer, and the text? So that you can find it in my blog. I'm just leaving that link in the comment section, you can find it. So I'll also show that when we execute. Okay, so data classification, book id, I'm creating a book id. Okay, so book id here, so this is the place where you have to see. So when I click on that book id, okay, so it should bring the data from here. okay, from the book table, because already I have book id, right? Then you have to use the property called table relation. Okay, you have to use the property called table relation. And here in table relation you have to tell from which table you wanted to connect. Okay, book dot book id. So I wanted to connect, relate this particular lending table with the book table, and I wanted to bring that. Okay, that is why I have given here. This is the only one major change I just used here. Other than that, you can see member id, everything, lending date, return date, status, whether you have issued the book, whether they have returned the book, and overdue. Okay, so anything, like if you want to add more, you can just go ahead and add more here. Anything else we have missed it here? So you can see this is lending id, yes, good. Book id, customer name, I think, right? You need a customer name, so you can add the customer name here. Okay, so 6 7, and I just want to go ahead with the customer name. So customer name, you can make it as a text 100, and you can just make it as not blank is equal to true. Okay, and this is the customer name. And do you have the lending date? Yes, we have lending date. Whether we have the due date? Yes, the due date is missing here. Okay, when once if you gets lend the book, then you should also know the due date when you have to return the book, right? So I am creating another field, 8. So that is due date. So I'm just going to make it as in a double quote, and also I'm just going to make it as a date variable. Okay, so data classification, even the due date should be should not be blank. So return status, I hope everything is fine. And if the return date is greater than the due date. For example, if the return date is today, but the person is returning after 10 days or 20 days, then you have to display the fine amount. Okay, so for that, I am also adding a fine amount. T field, and 9, I'm just going with the fine amount. Okay, so fine amount should be a decimal. You can also go ahead with the integer, there is no thing, but it's good to go ahead with the decimal, right? So I'm just going with the decimal. Okay, so I have find, due date, customer name, status, return date, lending date, lending id. Okay, lending id is the member id, so I'm just deleting it because it's automatically created, right? So let us properly rewrite the id so that we can easily understand. So 4 5 6 7. Okay, so 8. Then if you want, you have to give the proper primary key here. So I'm just making the primary key as the lending id as the primary key, and the second one, because I have related the table, right? So I wanted to tell what is my foreign key. So okay, so the key one, you can also make it as book. From book, I have bring the book id, and you should make it clustered is equal to false, because only one cluster, because once you create a cluster is equal to 2, your everything will be properly made as a clustered index. You don't want to make second one as the true. Okay, let us just delete all these things because I don't want these, and I don't want the variable trigger anything. So we will learn about the variable trigger and everything after probably, like once we go for the second project, which is the for the intermediate level project. Okay, so the lending table is also ready for us. So let us just save this. Your we are ready with the two tables. One is a book table and the lending table. I hope there is no questions here. If you have any question, please let me know. So now I'm going to write a logic in the code unit. What is the logic I'm going to try here is what? See, the ISBN number. Actually, the ISBN number should be numbers. Okay, it should not be completely like any. There should not be any text in between. Okay, so for that, I'm just going to create a logic here. So for that, I'm going to write a code unit. Why, Gomati, you are writing a code in it? Why can't you write it directly in the directly in your table itself or in the page itself? So why I'm not directly writing it in the page? Because sometimes if you wanted to change the logic, sometimes you wanted to change some piece of code, then you should not touch the base object. Okay, you have to actually do what you have to write it in the code unit, and whatever you wanted to change, you can just do it there itself. So take code unit, I'm just going to give the code unit object name id as 10, and I'm going to make it as book ISBN validation. Okay, so I'm just going to make this as a validation, and if you wanted to give some subtype, okay, so subtype. So what is the subtype? What is this actually? The coordinate is all about, like if you are, whether you are installing the coordinate, or if it's a normal coordinate, whether it is a test coordinate, test runner, or upgrade coordinate. So this is a normal coordinate because I'm just going to write a logic here, so I'm just going ahead with the normal coordinate, and I'm going to write a procedure here. Okay, so what is the procedure? Because I want to validate it. So why you're writing it in the procedure? Because I want to call this when that particular field is entered. Okay, I will be validating that. So I will tell you why we are doing it. Okay, validate ISBN number. Okay, this is the automatic suggestion, so don't worry about it. So here I wanted to pass, I wanted to get the data here. What data? I wanted to bring the ISBN number data. Okay, so this is the variable which you can create it. Okay, so here it will pass it, here it will get the data. Okay, from where? I will tell you. Just we are going to write the logic, just simply think about it. So where, okay, there is no closing braces, so that's why it's okay. So validate ISBN number. So ISBN number is there, colon boolean, and then you have to start with is numeric. Okay, is numeric should be a boolean, and I as integer, because I have to check each and every numbers. So I want to check each and every number, so I'll be taking that into the loop. So begin and end, where I'll be is numeric colon is equal to true. If it is a numeric, okay, if it is numeric, then it has to just go and check for the each and every number. So for example, if I'm entering the ISBN number as 1 2 3 4 1 2 sorry 4, this should not be the text. Okay, so 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. So the ISBN number should be 13 in numbers. Okay, you should enter 13 numbers. So if I entering the number, it should check each and every number and check whether it is 13 numbers digits have been entered. Okay, that is the first thing I wanted to do. So for I is equal to so is numeric, then true. If so, I am just again checking one thing. So if strlen, which will check the length of that particular variable, okay, is number is not equal to 13. Okay, if that ISBN number entered which is not equal to 13 digits, then it has to exit. Exit false in the sense what? It will throw you an error and it will tell no, it is not the proper ISBN number you have entered. Okay, else if it is true. Okay, so for I is equal to 1, strlen ISBN number, if it is proper, okay, then you have to start this check as well. So what is the check you have to do? If not ISBN number of IN001, that is, it has to check whether the ISBN number is the digit. Okay, it does not have any additional characters. Then you have to make it as numeric, like if it is if the numbers are have, it's not between 0 to 9. Okay, so for example, if I am entering the ISBN number like this, okay, A 1 2 3 4 5 6 7, Okay, so it should not only check the length of the ISBN number. I want to check the length should be 13, and also all the numbers which have been entered should be the numbers. Okay, so it will check if it is not a number between the 0 to 9, then it should send numeric values false. Okay, else if it is a number, then I'm breaking the loop here. If it is like any, even if it finds any any one character as a string or a text, it will break, it will end the loop. Again, you have to give the proper end statements here. And finally you have to exit. Okay, what I have to exit, what is the purpose of this exit? Because it will send the value. Finally, what is the result in this is numeric will be sent back to the exactly the code where it passed the values. Okay, then you have to end it here. Okay, so some problem, then begin. Okay, so this is what actually we are trying to do it. So this is the code block where we are checking whether the number ISBN number is exactly the number between 0 to 9, and also it's not exceeding 13, or limiting, like before, not below 13. Okay, the length should not be below 13. Okay, so this is the code in it which we have written. Then let us create a card page for both the book and lending. So when you enter the value for the book card, this code unit we'll be calling it when we use the ISBN number. Okay, so let us try that. T page. So you have to give the card ID, and what is the book card. I'm just going to make it as book card. Okay, the source table. So this is page type. What type of page it is? So your page may be any one of this, like API, card part, confirmation, document, anything. Okay, so I want to tell what type of page I'm going to create it. I'm going to create a card page. So you have to tell what is a card, card, what type of page you are creating. Application area. So if you are searching from a business central, you should bring this particular page. So that is why we are giving application area is equal to all, where if you are searching, it will show that. Okay, usage categories, administration. Even here you will have lot of categories. Okay, if you enter, you can see these are all the categories which you have: administration, documents, history, list, none, everything. So you can just go ahead with administration as of now. So usage category is like, you can make it as a proper searching, if you want to search it the proper option, then you can go ahead with this. Or if you don't want to make it as usage category, is go to administration, you can simply leave it as none. Okay, and what is the source table? Which table you wanted to bring in? I wanted to bring in the book card, right? Book table I wanted to bring it, so I'm just giving source table as book. So this is the page, this is the properties for the page. If you wanted to add more property, just enter and press control space. You can see various properties here: caption ml, card page id, everything. Okay, editable, if you want to make it editable, false, true, whatever, you can give that. And this is the layout, like in the page, how you wanted to see the fields, like how you wanted to look that page, see that page. So this is the complete layout section. Okay, so in this layout section, whatever you enter, so here you can see this is the layout section. What are all the fields you wanted to display in the page? So page is the where the user can enter the data. User UI, you are creating some UI, user interface, for the users to enter the data. So this is where here you have to tell what are all the fields the users should enter. Okay, so here you can so let us leave this content as such. Group name, if you want to give any group name, you can give it, like for example, book details. Okay, so I'm just giving book details. Okay, and let us start with uh, name. What are the fields you wanted to see? I'm just copying this here because I wanted to repeat it. So what are the fields we have? Book ID. Okay, so this is the first one which we want, and the second one, first let us just bring in all the thing. Okay, then I wanted to bring in ISBN number, so it should not be in the same order like how you have entered in the table. It may be in any order. Okay, and then the third field I wanted to see is what book category. Okay, and the fourth field I wanted to see, we will come, okay, we wanted to see is what book cost, book price or book cost. And the fifth field which we wanted to see is what publisher. Okay, and the sixth field, which sixth entry which I wanted to see is what the title. Okay, seventh entry which I wanted to see is what the author. Eighth field which I wanted to see is what okay, title we have given, right? Author, publication date. If anything is missing, yes, language, I think you can bring in language. Okay, so these are all the things which we have given. Okay, and like as we saw in a table, like not blank is equal to true. Here if you want to display the hashtag symbol, which is a mandatory field, right? If you want to make it show mandatory, then you can make it as true. Okay, show mandatory, this is the thing which it will simply show you the hashtag symbol, which means that it is mandatory to enter, you cannot leave it blank. Okay, why even here you have not null, okay, not blank is equal to true, but it is good to keep that not blank in the table level, because it won't store it there, right? If it is a blank, it won't store it there. So show mandatory, everything is mandatory. Okay, and then now we have created a code unit, right? I want to bring that code unit in this ISBN number. So what I'll be doing, I'll be writing a trigger for this number. So we have triggers for page as well. Okay, here if you just come and type trigger, you can see, sorry, so if you type T trigger, you can see you have triggers for you have this much trigger for page. Okay, on, after, get record, on, after, get record, on, close, on, delete, on, init, insert, record. So you have this much triggers for a page. Okay, we will see this in the intermediate level project, but I want the trigger should happen when this field value is entered. Whenever the user is entering the ISBN number, immediately that procedure should be called. Okay, so what I will be doing, no, I will be writing the trigger here. This is called as a field level trigger. Okay, so in field level trigger you have only these types, like on validate, on lookup, on drill down, on control, on assist, on after lookup. We will talk about these triggers in the next project. So here we are going to just use the on validate trigger. So it has to validate what it has to validate. Okay, so I am just going to bring in this coordinate. What is this coordinate name? Book is ISBN number validation, right? So I'm just going to make it ISBN validation, and I'm going to make that coordinate. I'm going to bring that coordinate. Okay, coordinate. What is that coordinate name? Is book ISBN validation. Book ISBN validation. Okay, so this is what the coordinate. So why should I bring this? What I'm actually doing it is what I'm holding the ISBN complete validation code unit and the relevant variable here in this particular variable ISBN number validation. Why should I do that? Because I wanted to call this procedure. Okay, so I want to call this procedure inside the begin and end. Okay, so what I'm going to do, if not ISBN number, ISBN validation. Okay, ISBN validation is what is the variable which is holding the code unit. Okay, local variable dot validate is number. What is that validate is number? So here you can see this is validate is number is the procedure inside the code unit, and for this procedure I want to pass the argument from here. So what argument I'm going to pass is what record dot ISBN number. So what is this record.isbn number? So this ISBN number is the field name, and it has to get the this record. REC means is what the record, okay? Which means that current record, whatever the value you are entering in the ISBN number should be validated immediately. When once you enter an ISBN number, that value will be passed to this particular procedure which is there in the code unit, and then all these logic will be executed, and it will send the value in the S numeric. Okay, when if any of this goes wrong, then the false will be sent, then it will throw you an error. Okay, error. If not this, then it will throw you an error. If S, it will give you the proper result. Okay, so that's simple. Even you can write the validation here itself, but I told you why you should not write the logic here, because you should not go and directly touch your page or your table. Okay, so it should be written outside. After like beyond this, if you want to add some caption, okay, you can do it. If you want to bring some tooltip, okay, you can enter the tooltip here. I will show you where this tooltip is where this tooltips will be working. Okay, where it is used actually. You can just type tooltip. Okay, so far we have completed what we have completed: two tables, one code unit, and one page. Okay, so now we have to create what we have to create a card page for the lending table, and we have to create a list page for both. Why should I create a list page? Because if you want to see the consolidated entry of anything, you have to create a list page. Okay, so you have to create a list page there, and here I'm not going to do any actions. Okay, I'm not going to perform any action here, so I'm just going to comment it. For commenting, just press control and slash. So everything, it's a multi-line comment, so you can find everything is commented here. Okay, so this is the book card, and I want to create a book list, or else you can create a card page. Okay, let us create a card, book card, and lending card. We will just create a lending card as well. So yes, I have the lending card here. So it's very simple. T page, so 50106, and I'm going to name it as lending card. Okay, so it's a card page, and my source table is what lending. Okay, and I'm just going to have these things. um Let me just delete this. So again, because this is a card for that, right, I'll just copy this. So what are the things which you have added there? Lending ID. Okay. And then you have to bring in book ID. Okay, then you have to bring in customer name. Okay, then you have to bring in lending date. Then you have to bring due date. Okay, here we will be doing a validation. Just wait and watch. Okay, due date, and then a return date, and yes, I think fine amount. If you want to go ahead with the fine amount and the status, you can also bring in that fine amount and the status. And yeah, so here I wanted to do two things. Okay, first thing is what, if you want to go ahead with everything show mandatory, yes, that you can add it. That is the first level of validation. Okay, if you want to go ahead with this, go. The thing is what, I wanted to check the lending date. Okay, once if I enter the lending date, automatically it should show the 30 days after the from the lending date. For example, if I am getting it today, that is today, it should show me the return date after 30 days, exactly after the 30 days. This is what exactly I wanted to write it. Okay, so you wanted to write the trigger in the lending date. Okay, let us go and write the trigger in the rending date. Let me just go show mandatory is equal to true. Okay, and in the lending date I'm going to write it. So trigger on validate. So what I wanted to validate here is what directly I can go ahead with the begin, because I just wanted to do the calculation with this lending date only. Okay, so if record dot lending date, okay, is not equal to today. Okay, so in lending date I wanted to ensure that it should be today. Okay, because today someone, I should not enter the lending date um before 3 days or 4 days, right? So or after 3 days or 4 days, it should be today. So I'm just going to check whether the record that lending date is today. If they are not entering the value today, then it has to display some error. Okay, if it is not today, then what it should do, it should show me error. Okay, what error? Invalid lending date. Lending date should be today, must be today. Okay, only it should enter. Okay, and then record dot due date. Due date is equal to record dot lending date plus 30. So it should automatically display record dot lending date is equal to 30, and it should be like colon equal to. Why should I use colon equal to? Because you're assigning the value due date. So what it will do, it will automatically add 30 days from today, and then it will store it, it will display the value in the due date. So what I will do, I have to give colon equal to. Okay, and end. So this is what you have to do it here, and no one should change the due date. Because due date, it is automatically calculating here, right? So I don't want to change the due date. So I'm just going to make editable is equal to false, because no one should change it, right? So I'm just going to make it as a false. Okay, this is the one validation I have written here. So other than that, book id, if you want to, so book id, yes, here you have to relate the table, right? Table relation again, book id. Okay, because it has to bring the book id from that particular place. Like it should display, you don't want to type it, you can simply select it. That is what we are going to do it here. And here a lending date should also be show mandatory. Show mandatory is equal to true. Okay, and here editable is equal to false. Return date. Okay, so you have to validate the return date, and you have to calculate the fine amount. Even the fine amount should be automatically triggered. Okay, so you have to, what you have to just calculate the fine amount based on the return date. I'm just going to apply a simple logic. If it is more than the due date, for example, if the due date is even greater than 1 day, then they have to give the fine amount as 30 rupees. Okay, so I'm just going to go with the trigger on validate. Okay, so on validate. So I don't want these local variable, because I'm not going to do anything with the local variable. I'll be just creating with the return date. Okay, with the due date, return date, and everything. So if record dot return date, okay, is not equal to 0 day, okay, then what it has to do, then you have to start with that, and within the begin and end, if record dot return date, if it is 0 date, then no, okay, no problem. If it is not equal to 0 date, then it has to go here, is greater than record dot due date, then okay, record dot fine amount, I'm just going to assign the fine amount as 30 automatically. Okay, 30 rupees. Else record dot fine amount is equal to 0. Okay, so what I'm trying to do it here is, what I'm just checking, if the return date is not is 0 is equal to 0 day, which means that they are not, if they are returning back before the due date, then it's fine. Okay, if they are not, if even if it is going beyond 0 day, that is if it is 1 day, then they have to pay the 30 rupees fine amount, then it will be automatically shown in your field. fine amount. So I'm just going to make this fine amount as editable is equal to false, because no one should edit the fine amount. Okay, so I have just made the fine amount is equal to false, and the status, you have to select the status whether they have lent it, everything. Okay, show mandatory is equal to true. Got it? So this is the one. And the second one is, like if you wanted to even if you wanted to do something with the here in the page, you have some um, triggers. Okay, so if you want to do on open page itself, it has to do some these calculations. Now whatever we have written here, right? If the lending date, the return date. Okay, so here I'm going to write a trigger here on what, on open page. On open page I have to find something here. Okay, what if record dot lending date is equal to 0 day. Okay, so that is what lending date is equal to 0 day. That is return date. We can do the same calculation here as well. Okay, so let us go and try. The next one is what, here we don't need a key because, okay, so this is the lending card. We have created the lending card. Now let us create the list page for the book. Okay, it's very simple. T page, and you should no, you can select the page as the list page itself. You have to select this. Okay, page of type list, then only it will give you the proper snippet. So the list page will be different and the card page will be different, so you have to give the proper page. So you can just make it as book list. Okay, and type, so what is the table? Again, the table is what, the book. You have to give the proper source table. Okay, and then in the layout under the group, okay, you have to bring in all these things like book id. Okay, so in what order you have to see, you can type it there, book id. And here I'm just making it as table relation, so it should show the table properly, book dot book id. Okay, so this should be there. And you wanted to bring you wanted to, whatever the thing which you want to display in the list, that alone you can type it here. For example, I want to show the title of the book. Okay, and here I don't want the table relation. So this is book list, right? For this, okay. And then field, you can make it, you can bring in title, author. Okay, and field book price. And then field, because since I have added publication date, language, whatever the thing which you want to show it in a list, you can bring in. Like if you don't want something to be displayed, then you can leave that. Okay, it will not show any error, like you are not showing this here, like that it will not show any error. You can just make it like that. Okay, publisher, in which order you want to show, you can also do that. ISBN number. Okay, if you just want to leave it here, you can leave it. Okay, ISBN number, anything like whatever which is required. And I'm not going to show any fact boxes, so I'm just commenting everything here right from here. Okay, we may need it in the future probably, but I don't want it now, so I'm just closing it. So just save this. So this is the book list is prepared now, and I wanted to create a lending list. Okay, list page, T page. Here I'm just not going to do anything with the list. Okay, the changes which we have made it in the card, lending list, and this should be the table, lending table. And you can see in the group, you can bring in lending id. Okay, so here if you wanted, for example, if I click on this lending id, yes, even here we can do that. If I click on this book id, it should open the card. Okay, so what I'll be doing is, what I'll be using drill down page id, where I should see the book card. So what is a book card id is what 50103, right? So I can make it as 50103. Okay, likewise in the lending list, I wanted to go with drill down page id 50106. So lending card, I'm just searching for the lending card. Okay, lending card is 50106. You can see lending card is 50106. If you want to go ahead with the table relation, you want to tell lending dot lending id, then you can. It's actually table relation will just look up for the another table. Okay, so you can see that these are all where you can use the table relations. Okay, let us just comment it here. Let us create the other fields. Okay, what are the fields we want? We want the book id. Okay, sorry. Lending date, return date, status. So whatever you want, you can just type it. Customer name. Okay, and then due date, return date, due date, fine amount. Okay, and what else is missing? You can just type and see if anything is missing. Book title is missing. Okay, book title we haven't. Okay, I think everything is fine here. So I am just going to make the other thing as comment. I'm just going to comment everything else, because we are not going to do anything with this. Okay, so as of now we have created two table, four pages, like two card page, two list page, and one code unit. Let us just first execute this code and see. Okay, so that let us see like how these things are working. You will get some excitement from here. Let us execute the code. I'm just going to make the page book card 50103 in the launch.json. Let us skip 50103, and it's a page. Okay, let us save it and execute it. Let us see like what magic is happening. So you should also check for any errors are coming up here. Okay, so we have two more objects to try. One is a query and another one is the report. Okay, so the purpose of query is to bring in the persons who have paid the fine. Okay, while lending, while like those who didn't return it on time. Okay, so here you have the error. Author has reduced the length of the data type from 100 to 50. Okay, author. So once if you go to the problem, so it's a, I think it's a runtime error. Let us go to the author. Okay, page. I just wanted to bring in the table, book table. So while trying, I just gave like 100. So that is what it's showing. Title is reduced from 100 to 50, and the author is also reduced from 100 to 50. So this is the error. Okay, so you can see here the field title has reduced the length. Okay, book cost. Okay, we can just make it as, because while book price. Let us execute this code and see what's any error we are getting it. You can find the errors here in the debug console. Okay, so here it is showing that removing fields is not allowed. So see, one thing is, what while trying I have created a name, created the field with a different name. and now it is I have changed that, right? So that is why it is showing the error. Two things you can do if you are just trying it. If you cannot find a lot of mistakes over there, you can just go here and enable this. Okay, schema update mode is equal to recreate. So what it will do is the existing one will be deleted, all these things will be deleted, and it will recreate the entire thing for you. Okay, so if but this will be the problem if you have entered the lot of records in your once you like after executing, if you have the data in your table, and if you are enabling this mode, this will create some like it your data will be lost. So once everything is fine, you can just go ahead and comment it. That is good to go ahead with that. So let us wait for the book card to see like what how it is evaluating the ISBN number and everything. Let us see that. Yes, so your book card is ready. For this you have to click this plus symbol if you want to add a new book card. Okay, so you can see this mandatory. Okay, this is the hashtag symbol because we have mentioned that mandatory is equal to true, show mandatory is equal to true, and we have used the tooltip. Okay, so here you can see in the book card we have created a tooltip for everything, right? The tooltip you can find it here. If you click, this is the tooltip. Enter the book ID. This is the tooltip. Okay, now let me just enter the book ID B101. Okay, and ISBN number. So I'm just going to give 123. It will tell you invalid ISBN number. What is happening here? Once if I enter 123, okay, so this 123 is sent to this validate ISBN number procedure, which is there inside the code unit. So in the code unit, it will just try to validate whether that STRLEN length of the ISBN number is 13. If it is not equal to 13, it will immediately exit false. It will send the false message to the value, that is numeric will be false. Okay, and then it will send the value false to the S numeric, and it will tell me that it's an invalid number. So I can see it is an invalid SBN number. So I have to give 13 numbers. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So once if I enter 13 numbers, it will accept. Okay, and this is the option. So these are all the options which we have given. So what are the options which you want? You can just give it. The price of the book, you can just give the price of the book. The publisher, you can enter the publisher. Title, you can enter the title. Okay, author, you can enter the author name. Publication date, you can enter the publication date. Okay, and the language, what is the language, you can just enter it. Once and while you are entering it, it will be automatically saved. Okay, and you can go back and search for the book list. Okay, so you can see that once you have added these things, no, it is showing the book list. And if I click here in that B101, it is opening the card. Okay, this is what we did here. In the list page, in the book list page, I have shown the drill down page ID is 50103. What it is doing, it is displaying me that particular card page for me. Okay, so I can check for the lending card. Okay, let me just try to enter the lending card details as well here. So lending ID L101, book ID. So if I click here, it will get the book ID for me. How it is getting the book ID for me? Because I have mentioned that it should be the table relation, right? So in the card page, in the lending card page, so where is that lending card page lending card? So here I have mentioned that book ID should be table relation book ID. It should bring me only the book ID. So it is showing me the book ID. Okay, customer name, I can give like the name of the customer. Okay, what is the lending date? So what we told, lending date should be today, right? It should not be beyond that. So if I enter 7, it will not allow, it will not accept. Okay, so I'm just entering the day. Only if it is today, it will accept. and automatically you can see the due date is calculated. You can see here that the due date is calculated, like from this date, 30 days from this day. So that is why it is automatically calculated, and you can see editable is equal to false. Okay, that it is showing. And the return date, if I am entering the return date as one day after the due date, let me just try one day after the due date, which is 26. So you can see here that fine amount is automatically calculated, which is 30, and you can make it as returned. Okay, so your data is saved. Now you can go ahead to the lending card page, lending list page, and see. If you click on this lending, it is showing you that lending card. Okay, so this is what the lending, that is the drill down page id. We have used the drill down page id. So I hope you all are clear till now. Let me just proceed with creating a query here. Okay, so let us create a query. So you have to start with tquery. Okay, and you can give the query id 50106, and I'm just going to make it as person who paid fine. Okay, person who paid fine. And the query type is normal. So what are the types of query you have? Just api and normal. So this is not an api query, so this is a normal query. I'm just going with a normal query. And what are the elements you wanted to give it? Okay, so let us give the data item. Okay, data item is what? Which source table? What is the source table you wanted to bring in? Okay, and then what are the column you wanted to display? I wanted to display. Okay, so in the data item, I wanted to filter the filter the record who paid fine. Okay, so so I'm just going to use data item table filter, and it should be the fine amount, and it should be like I wanted to filter it is equal to filter, and it should be greater than 0. Okay, if the fine amount is greater than 0, then I wanted to display the name, display the data. Okay, so what are the data you wanted to display? I want to display the lending id. Okay, I wanted to display the I want to display the customer id, customer name. If you just want to go ahead with the customer name and the customer id, then fine. Okay, so if you want to get the more details, like what is the fine amount they paid and what is the book id, so what you want to display, that you can just make it. Okay, so if you want to display more lending date. Okay, so what are the things which you want to display, you can just go ahead here. Okay, that is the one. So here I'm just printing it. If you want to filter based on any other field name, if you want to be specific about any other filters, new filter, then you can go ahead here. I'm not going to do any filters here because we are just trying it out. Okay, so you can just go ahead with this. If you want to display some caption, you can just go ahead for the caption. Here you have caption here. Okay, so lending date, anything. Okay, how you want to display. So that is possible. So here we are just displaying the thing, those who have those who have paid the fine amount. Okay, so that is what uh, so this is the book id. If you want to display the book id, then you can display, this is the caption, and so what is the caption you wanted to give? Fine amount. Yes. So whatever, like whatever the captions you want to give, you can give that. So let us just execute this query and see like how this query is executing. So we can execute the query directly in the launch.json. So 50106. So go to launch.json. I have just commented the schema update mode to recreate because it should not be recreate. Okay. So you have to give the correct ID here 6, and it is the query. Okay, so query is this, and just let us execute it. Let's just save this, and I'm just giving control and F5. Let us see, like, because one person is having a fine amount, so let us see how that query is executing. So it may take some time. So your query is executing now. So you can see those who have already, those who have all paid fine amount, their name will be listed here. Okay, so you can see here, as it's loading. Okay, you can just add customer name. So this is the new mode here. Okay, this is to analyze. Okay, customer name, what is the fine amount she has paid, what is the lending date, okay, year, lending date, month. So whatever, just I just wanted to see whatever the thing which I want to see, I can just add it. So if we have multiple person who are doing that, who have paid the fine amount, you can check that. Okay, so the thing is, like, you have to see the customer name and the fine amount, that you can print it here. This is what the simple query which we have written. So again, query is in another object where it is like fetching the data, fetching the specific data, and this data item table filter is not mandatory. Okay, if you just used lending ID, it will print everything, all the data. Since we have used the data item table filter, and the filter fine amount should be greater than 0, so that is why it is printing like this. Okay, so these are all the basic thing, and variable, if you don't want this, you can just delete it, so it's not required. So finally, we are going to create a report. I am just going to create a basic report for using a word file. Okay, we are going to create a report, a report file, a report word file. Okay, t report. I'm just going to create a report, and you can write the report like 50107, and my report you can delete and give the report name for the customers who paid fine amount. Okay, fine, and that is the report, a customer who paid fine. So if you want to give some space here, you can just go ahead with the double quotes. Okay, and here you have to tell usage category, so under what it should come. Okay, reports and analysis. Okay, under the reports and analysis it should come, and application area all, it should be by default in the default rendering layout. So what is the what report you are going to create it, whether you want to create a excel report, or word report, or rdlc report. So this is the rendering, and here you can see this is the layout name. This will be the name here, default rendering layout. So if you are changing there, you have to change it here. If you are changing here, you have to change it there. Okay, it is referencing something. So that is the one, what type of report you're going to create, and the data item from which table you're going to get it. Okay, so in the intermediate level, we'll be discussing, like, what all, how to add, like how to get the data from the two tables. Okay, so here we are just going to see only these things, the customer name. We will also see how to create a request page. Okay, column, fine amount, what are the thing which you wanted to bring in, you can just go ahead with that. Okay, book id, if you want to see the lending date, if you want to print the column. Okay, like due date, return date, whatever you wanted to bring in, you can just add it there. So status, so everything, what are the columns which you wanted to find it here, you can bring in. Okay, due date, return date, everything, whatever you want. And the thing is, what fine amount is what the major thing. Okay, so this is the first block in our thing, which is a data set. You have to tell from which table you are going to display the report, for which table you are going to display the report. So the table, and what are the columns you want to display in the report, everything you have to bring in. Next one is the request page. So whenever you are executing your report, If you want to show some filters, like if you want to display like from which date to which date you wanted to get this data, then you can use this. So for the request page, if you wanted to add some title, you can add the title. So filter by date range, by date. Okay, so if you want to add the filter, add some, if you want to get the input from the user, you can just add it. Okay, specify, this is a teaching tip. I will tell you like where it is used, about that, about text, about title, everything, where it is used. The layout, area, content, and this is group. If you wanted to give the group name in a different thing, then you can make it as different one, filter group. Okay, and what is the field, what are the fields you wanted to see there in the filtering, like in the request page, what are the thing which you wanted to see that. So I want to see the start page, starting date. Okay, and start date field which I wanted to see. Okay, so those field I wanted to create it here. Okay, so in the variable, okay, let me just create it, start date, and it should be the date. Okay, and end date, which should be the date. And if you wanted to bring in the, I'm just also adding the lender record. I want to bring the render records from the lending table. So I'm just adding the lending table. Okay, record. Okay, I'm just bringing in the lending table here. So I can mention the start date, what are the dates which we have to give. Why I'm giving a start date here, because this date which I'm using it here is not the date from the any of the other table, like lending table. Okay, I wanted to just display the date. Got it? So I'm just using the start date, and also I can use the end date. No problem. So it will apply, so don't worry. Field end date. Okay, so yes, here we have added the start date and end date. If you want to go with a caption, you can also create a caption here. And in the action, we wanted to generate the report, right? So what is the action you wanted to create? Generate report. Okay, and then you can add the caption, generate report. So here, what is the syntax error, is what we haven't closed the curly brace properly, we haven't closed the block. And rendering, this is very important. Okay, so let the layout name maybe same, like layout name. If you want to change this to something, you have to change here as well. Okay, layout name. So here I'm just keeping this as such, but in the type I wanted to use the word document. Okay, so Excel. So three types is default, word, rdlc, and Excel, and the fourth one is the custom. Okay, so this we will see later. So today we are going to discuss only with the word layout. And if it is a word layout, so you have to make it as my report dot docx. Okay, so that is why it's showing error. So almost we have done. And the thing is, what I wanted to create a trigger here. Okay, so okay, let us not worry about all these triggers, let us just generate this and see. Let us talk about the trigger probably in the intermediate level. So I have executed it. Okay, now the first thing is you have to generate the report first. Okay, here in the left side you cannot see my report. Okay, can you see my report.docs? No, right? Now you will see, what you have to do is, what you have to first make it as a package, you have to create a document file. Now for that we have to press Ctrl Shift and B. Okay, once if you click Ctrl Shift and B, you can find my report is available here. Okay, so now what you wanted to do is, what, press Ctrl S, go to this my report, right click in the on my report, and click here open externally. Okay, right click, go to and click open externally. Sorry. My report, sorry, my report, and click open with uh okay, my report open externally, that's correct. Okay, so I have wrongly selected something else and clicked it. So your word file will be opening. Okay, so once you open the word file, you cannot see anything. You have to go to this developer. Okay, how to bring this developer, this tutorial I have already explained, because again if I explain the same thing, already it's time. So I'll just show you like how to see that. Okay, just click on this tech tutorial. There you can go ahead and search for word. Okay, just go and search for word. There I have clearly mentioned how to configure the word layout step by step, so that you can find it. You will get the developer. Just click on this developer and then you will find the XML pane here. Okay, just click on this XML pane. You can see that in the right side you can see a drop down. Okay, just click on the drop down. You can see that the nav report. Okay, you can see a nav report, but it's showing her customer who paid. um okay, so actually it's not showing our report. Okay, it's showing the customer who paid, like previously I have executed. So what we will do is, okay, let us just save this, let us execute that and come. Okay, control S, which has created the document file. Let us execute that. Once it is executed, let us see whether this package we can open and see the my report. Okay, that my report externally. So with this, no, once this is executed, then we can just your complete your one simple project with business central using AL code, and everything is will be done. Okay, now let us try to open this externally. This open externally my report. mm, it's opening. So let us go to the developer and click on this XML, and let us see whether my report is there. um, okay, it's not there actually. So okay, let me just tell you, because I just want to if you are running it for the first time, it will display. Okay, might be it's not properly configured. Okay, it's not properly executed, might be the reason behind that. Let me just open that. um, because it's the same name, right? So that is why it is just picking up the same thing. Okay, let me just try to because this is the name, the same name. So let us just open this. I'll tell you how to configure that. Okay, so find report layout, open externally, you will definitely get it. Okay, you have to just open it through that. Okay, let me just delete it. Already I have used it, right? So let me just delete. Okay, let me create a new table for you. In which format you want it? Okay, if you want to add a logo, you can add it here. If you want to add some heading here, you can add it. Welcome to learn with Gomati. So whatever, like whatever you want, you can just do it. Insert table, what are the fields you want to bring in, you can select it. Now you have to go to the developer, click on the XML mapping, and now you have to select which report. So this is what my report, customer who paid. Okay, there you can see, if you just click on this data item, you can see that these are all the fields which you have. Just right click here and click on insert content control. You can see the content is coming up here. Insert, click on that. So a fine amount, which format you wanted, combo box or drop down list, date picker, how you want to see that, you can just select it. Okay, return date, fine amount, return date, everything, like what are the various fields you wanted to bring in, you can just bring in. And finally you have to save it. Okay, in which color, if you want to make it as a different color, then please do that. Whatever the changes you wanted to make it, just do that, and then just save it and close it. Okay, now save this and execute it. Like once if you execute, your file will be open. Yeah, like the query will be open. You have to search for this customer who paid find report. Okay, Let us search. Once it is executed, let us go and search. Okay, we are using this application area is equal to all, because wherever we go and search, it should display our object, right? So that is why we are creating this. Okay, so here you can just go ahead and type. Okay, you can type like search for that, search for your report. Okay, customer who, okay, let me just go, who paid for fine report, right? Yes, so customer who paid fine report. Okay, this is the report and analysis. And what is this report and analysis? This is what we have given here. Okay, usage category report and analysis. Okay, so let me just click here, customer who paid thing. So this is what the filter. So you can see here start date and end date. That is what I have entered in the request page. Okay, request page, about the title, filter by date. Okay, you can see here, this is what the request page. You can see this is the start date, this is the end date. Okay, so you can give the start date, from where to which date you wanted to find it. Okay, and here if you just preview and close, you can just preview it, it will work, and your report will be displayed. Okay, so your data will be fetched, and your report will be displayed here. Okay, now I think it is taking that. 1 minute, let me just change it, because here I haven't changed the name, right? Hmm. Okay, fine. Report layout.docs. Okay, let us execute it. If you just open this, like, but you should not open when it is executing it. Okay, let us wait and see. So these are the basic requirements of any thing, like any table or something. So beyond that, intermediate level, we'll be understanding like why to use that triggers, and what how to use the system variables, and everything. Okay, let us try to execute now and see whether it is bringing that. Yeah, so here, because we have used it, okay, welcome to learn and everything, it is displaying. But let me just open this, open externally, and let us see like why it is not showing up. Okay, welcome to Gomati is fine, it's showing. But here you can see end date, start date. Okay, due status, written, lending book, fine, everything is here. I think it's not connected properly, so that is why it's showing. Let us go to this. So let us select this, go here. So this is a different one, right? So this is different, and this is different. So let us delete this, all these things. Okay, let us connect this. Insert rich text, customer name, insert rich text, due date, insert date, and fine amount, insert rich text. Okay, let us have these things, let us save this, close this, close this. Again we will execute and see like how it is working. Okay, okay, let us see whether the report is working fine. Okay, you can search for that report anywhere there, in being in your business central UI. This is the business central homepage, like this is not the homepage, but this is the business central UI. Who paid, I'm just typing here, Let me just open, let me just give preview and close. So here you can see this is what, okay. So B101 Srimati, this is what, okay. So one more thing, like if you want to bring in the heading there, okay, so you have to write it accordingly. Like in the first is should be the name, everything, and then second you have to bring in. If you want to add the logo, whatever, you can just design it. Okay, so I hope you got some idea into this, like how to create a basic table, how to use the properties, how to relate to table, how to bring the card page, how to use the drill, like how to use the options, validations and everything. If you want more projects like this, if you want it for the beginner or intermediate level, please let me know. We will just create it, but it will take some time because I'll be a little busy with other trainings as well. So give me some time and just let me know your feedbacks as well. Thank you, take care, and I'll meet you soon with the next exciting projects. You can find all the useful links in the comment section, okay, in the description. Thank you, take care, and bye.